I could not help myself but do a comparison between Thierry Pastel and this Keone Pearson when I realized how similar they were structurally. Don't be fooled by this front relaxed position. This is an ab flexed pose for Thierry, and Keone doing a vacuum pose. Both fantastic. Keone, I think, forgot his oil, but either way, both of these fine physical specimens, I believe them to be 5 feet 3 inches, perhaps. Either way, they are what would be known as a giant killer. They would go on stage, more than likely with a larger man, and make him look foolish. But either way, no rear relaxed, so no symmetry round. Let's have a look at the front double bicep poses, and like I said in the Tony Pearson match, these type of matches are just for fun. There's no real seriousness behind the decision making. It's such a blurry picture of Thierry Pastel that you can't really say one has better condition or the other, but we can make hypotheses, baby please, based on this picture. And Thierry looks fantastic. He's winning in the lag department. Look at the calves. That's one thing back in the 80s, early 90s. These guys made sure their calves were in check. And not to mention, tricep-bicep combination. This man is a beast in this shot. Here's a clearer picture of Thierry, but it's a more of a classical pose. But you can clearly see those calves just much better. Much better. It was hard to actually find a good selection of pictures of Thierry. Here's the front lat spread. And don't kid yourself, Thierry was a monster in this pose as well. This is, I believe, 1993 for Thierry, so he was not in his prime. He's seen better years before this. Keone, not the best pose for him. A little unfair, though, so it's unjust to award this point to Thierry. You can't see the silhouette, things of that nature. Plus, kudos for Keone for snapping a vacuum pose. I always appreciate the vacuums. Side chest shot. This Thierry, he was remarkable. From the calves to the hamstrings to the quads. And then you go to the upper body. Perfect midsection. Perfect chest. Well, chest could use another half inch. But I'm being nitpicky. Look at the arm. He is a beast. He is just an aesthetic beast at that. He's too much for Keone, I think. As far as the conditioning is concerned, they're roughly the same size, except when you look at the calves. I mean, Thierry is always going to have that edge, so if it's close, it's a no contest. It's a no-brainer. Thierry gets most of these shots. Now we look at the back developments due to lack of side tricep poses, and Keone is showing his worth here. Now this is a little unfair and unjust. It was hard to find a good selection of Thierry's back shots, but one thing we can be sure, he's just destroying Keone in the arm department and in the calves, and I don't think he's striking the pose properly. This is another more of a classical pose for Thierry again, and this is not in his prime either. This is 94, I think. So he was better in his prime, and he looks pretty good here, I have to say. Look at the lower lat insertions, and again, the calves, just domination city. But Keone's back development, it is pretty good. Here in the rear lat spread, however, I don't think the detail and muscle separation would be enough for Keone to get a victory over Thierry. Thierry, look at the muscle in his lats. Just fantastic. Unfortunately, once again, no on-stage picture of a good Thierry rear lat spread, and I've been criticized about the picture quality that I use for Thierry, and trust me, if I could find better pictures for him, I would, guys. Trust me. It's funny, the most muscular, these guys have kind of the same chest. There's a little bit of a, not a concave, but maybe a little bit too much of a separation in the cleavage area, so to speak. And both men are fashioned with this genetic trait. Thierry, he did not have to lose weight. Keone has a weight restriction, and you can see that extra mass on Thierry. Would Keone be as big as Thierry? Maybe. Who knows? But judging by this comparison, Thierry is just too much for Keone. But those those quads on Keone, showing that feathering. Definitely a plus in my eyes. I saved this pose for the last. Two aesthetic guys. I think the ab and thigh is maybe a more important pose than the most muscular for these type of bodybuilders. And this is a no-brainer, guys, if you ask me. From top to bottom. Look at the calves, look at the quads. Well, the quads are close. Gotta hand it to Keone. But when I look at the abs, and there is definitely no doubt that the victory should and does go to Thierry Pastel, not only in the ab and thigh, but he is your overall winner in this little comparison. But like I mentioned earlier, and I think this is a huge factor, guys, Keone is on a weight restriction, 180 pounds. I mean, if he could just go all out, he would probably match Thierry more of the shots. But either way, taking nothing away from Thierry Pastel, a fantastic world-class athlete, and he'll go down in history, I'm telling you right now, as one of the most aesthetic bodybuilders of all time. Hope you guys enjoyed this comparison. Hit thumbs up if you did. Subscribe to the channel if you have not already. Here I am.